that feeling when a new piece of tech comes out and everyone's talking about it and you're just trying to keep up?
Oh, definitely.
That's kind of how AI feels right now, just warp speed evolution.
It really does.
But don't worry, consider this your cheat code, maybe your fast track to understanding some of the genuinely cool stuff that's been happening lately. In the world of artificial intelligence, anyway.
Exactly. Think of this as grabbing a coffee with us,
Yeah.
and we're going to walk you through the exciting bits,
Yeah.
the developments that aren't just stuck in some, ivory tower lab,
Yeah.
but are becoming real, usable, and frankly, pretty mind-blowing, even if you're just starting to explore AI.
Absolutely. We've been digging through, well, all sorts of info, trying to find the signal and the noise,
Mm-hmm.
And we've landed on 3 areas that are particularly interesting and, importantly, accessible for newcomers.
Good.
We're talking about AI that's lean and mean and can run on your regular computer. That's where BitNet comes in. Then we're going to check out a coding environment that's getting a serious AI brain boost called Lovable 2.0.
Lovable, right.
And finally, we'll look at a super clever way AI is helping us understand what makes a website user-friendly with something called UXAgent.
So our aim is pretty simple, really. We want to show you what these advancements are, why they're a big deal,
Yeah.
and how you, even if you're brand new to AI, can start to see the potential and maybe even, get your hands a little dirty.
Get experimenting.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So ready to jump in.
Definitely. Let's kick things off with BitNet. This one, it really made me sit up. It's a 1-bit quantized transformer from Microsoft Research.
Right.
Now, for those of us whose eyes might just glaze over that description, what's the plain English takeaway here?
Well, think of it this way. BitNet is a streamlined type of AI brain, a small language model, or SLM,
Okay, SLM.
that's been engineered to be incredibly efficient. So instead of needing powerful, energy-hungry graphics cards,
The GPUs.
the big GPUs, exactly, it's designed to run smoothly on the kind of central processing unit, the CPU, that's already inside your everyday laptop or desktop.
Wow.
This is a huge leap towards making sophisticated AI more accessible because, well, it drastically cuts down on the need for specialized and expensive hardware.
So it's like saying you can now run a really powerful app, but on a basic phone instead of needing some kind of supercomputer.
That's actually a great analogy.
Yeah.
And what's truly remarkable is the sheer amount of information BitNet was trained on, like a staggering 4 trillion pieces of text and code.
4 trillion.
4 trillion tokens, yeah. The specific version we saw mentioned, the B1.58 to B4T.
Right.
It performs surprisingly well despite its small size. It really proves that you don't always need the biggest, most complex models to get impressive results.
Okay, so it runs on a regular computer. What does that actually unlock for people? Like, what could you do with this that you couldn't do as easily before?
Yeah, good question. Running AI on CPUs opens up some really exciting possibilities. One big one is speed, low latency,
Low latency, okay.
meaning you get answers and results much faster. So imagine a chatbot that responds instantly, or maybe real-time analysis happening without any lag.
Ah, okay.
Another key advantage is for what they call edge deployments.
Edge deployments.
This means you can run AI directly on devices, think your phone, smart home gadgets, maybe even cars, without constantly needing a connection back to the cloud.
Right, so the AI is running on the device itself.
Exactly.
The newsletter also mentions deploying BitNet on something called Azure App Service for Linux using a sidecar container. That sounds a bit ticky.
It does sound a little intimidating, yeah.
Is that something a beginner could actually play around with?
I think so. The fact that Microsoft provides a ready-to-use BitNet container image for Azure App Service makes it much more approachable.
Okay.
Think of container image as like a prepackaged application. It's got everything it needs to run, all bundled up.
Got it, like a self-contained package.
Exactly. And Azure then gives you the tools to easily launch and manage these packages, the sidecar part.
Huh.
It's kind of like having a helpful little assistant running right alongside your main application.
Huh. So even if you're not a seasoned developer, that pre-built package is a bit of a shortcut.
It is. It lowers the barriers significantly.
If someone's intrigued by this, maybe wants to see it in action, where should they start clicking? What are the first steps?
Okay, the best place to begin exploring is probably the BitNet GitHub repository.
GitHub, right.
That's where the project lives. You can find the code, the technical details. Then, to understand how to actually get it running, take a look at the Azure App Service documentation.
Okay.
Specifically, the sections that talk about containers and those sidecars.
Makes sense.
And for those interested in the tech that kind of inspired BitNet's server setup, the llama.cpp repository is worth a peek too.
llama.cpp.ok.
And finally, Azure has quick start guides. They walk you through deploying containerized apps step by step. So all those links, they're really gold mines for hands-on learning if you're curious.
Perfect. We'll make sure those are easy to find. All right, let's move on. Something that sounds really useful for anyone building anything digital, Lovable 2.0.
Yes.
It's called an AI-first development environment. What does that even mean? And what's new in this version that would excite someone just learning to code or build websites?
Right. AI first. It basically means that artificial intelligence is deeply integrated into the core of the whole development experience. It's not just an add-on.
Okay.
And Lovable 2.0 has some fantastic new features, but the chat mode agent is a real standout, especially for learners.
The chat mode agent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's more than just a simple code helper. It can actually reason through coding problems, assist with debugging,
Oh, nice.
help you plan out your code structure, answer technical questions in a much more in-depth way. And crucially, it does this without directly changing your code for you.
Ah, so it guides you rather than just doing it.
Exactly. It's like having an AI mentor available on demand to help you understand and fix those frustrating coding snags. You learn better that way.
That sounds like an absolute lifesaver for those, late night debugging sessions where you just feel completely stuck.
Totally. We've all been there.
What about the multiplayer workspaces? That sounds like it could be really useful for learning with others, maybe.
Exactly. This feature, it's available for their Pro and Teams plans, and it lets you collaborate on projects in real time with other people.
Like Google Docs for code.
Kind of, yeah. Whether you're working with a study buddy or maybe a more experienced mentor, being able to see and work on the same code simultaneously, that could be a huge boost to learning. The different user limits for Pro and Teams just give you options depending on your group size.
Makes sense. And security is something you hear a lot about, even for beginners. Lovable 2.0 has a security scan feature. How does that work, and why should a new developer care about that early on?
That's a really important point. The security scan, which they mention is powered by something called Supabase,
Oh, okay.
it automatically checks your code for known security weaknesses before you publish it. This is incredibly valuable for new developers because it helps build good security habits right from the start.
So it catches things early.
Right. It
Yeah.
flags potential vulnerabilities, helping you understand the security isn't just something you, bolt on at the end. It's a crucial part of writing good code from day one.
It sounds like they're really trying to make the whole development process smoother overall with things like dev mode for actual coding and visual edits for, how things look.
Precisely. By including both the code editing and the visual styling tools, they're catering to different aspects of development, making it more integrated.
Yeah.
And the other things like custom domains and the updated look and feel, they just show the platform is evolving and really focused on providing a good user experience. Plus, they mentioned simplified pricing for their Pro and Teams plans, which makes it easier to figure out the cost if you decide to upgrade.
Okay. So if someone wants to dive deeper into Lovable 2.0, see what it's all about, maybe try it out, where should they go?
The Lovable 2.0 blog post is the best place to get all the details. We'll
Yeah.
link it, of course. It gives a really good overview of all the new features and what the platform is aiming to achieve.
Excellent. Okay, let's shift gears again. This next one sounds almost futuristic. UXAgent.
Ah, yes, UXAgent.
It's described as using AI to simulate how people use websites. That sounds wild.
It's pretty cutting edge. The fundamental idea is to use those powerful large language models, the LLMs we hear so much about,
Right.
to create AI personas.
Yeah.
Think of them as digital stand-ins for real users.
AI personas. Okay.
These AI personas can then browse websites, they can click on things, and essentially behave and think like actual people trying to use the site.
No way.
Yeah, and this allows for automated usability testing on a scale that was just previously impossible. Imagine getting detailed feedback on your website design overnight
Overnight.
without having to recruit, schedule, and manage human testers.
Wow. So instead of spending weeks, maybe months setting up user testing sessions, you could get insights much, much faster.
Exactly. And for anyone new to building websites or apps or maybe just learning about user experience UX design, this is a potential game changer.
How so?
Well, it means you can identify potential problems with your design much earlier in the process. You can iterate more quickly.
Make changes faster.
Right, and ultimately create more user-friendly products. It's about using AI to check if your brilliant ideas actually make sense to the people who will ultimately be using them.
The newsletter mentions that UXAgent gives both qualitative feedback, like opinions or thoughts, and quantitative feedback, like statistics or numbers. How does an AI manage to do both?
That's a key part.
Right.
The AI agents can track things like how easily they completed certain tasks, maybe how long they spent on specific pages, where they encountered errors or got stuck. That's the quantitative side.
Well, numbers, yeah.
But they can also provide qualitative feedback. They can essentially explain their thought process, pointing out areas where the design was confusing or maybe suggesting improvements, much like a real user would in a think aloud usability test.
So it tells you why it struggled, not just that it struggled.
Precisely. And that combination gives you a really comprehensive picture of potential usability issues, much richer than just numbers alone.
Fascinating. If someone wants to really get into the weeds of how UXAgent works,
Yeah.
understand the tech behind it, is there more detailed information available?
Yes, definitely. There's a link provided to the full research paper on Archifeft. Archive is a popular repository where scientists and researchers share their papers, often before formal publication. So that paper will have all the nitty-gritty technical details for anyone who really wants to understand the underlying technology and methodology.
Great. So we've covered a lot today. Feels like a whirlwind tour.
It has been.
We've seen how AI can be more accessible, run on less hardware with BitNet, how it can help you learn and build code with Lovable 2.0.
Right. The AI assistant.
And how it can help you design better products faster with UXAgent.
The simulated users, yeah.
So for someone who's just starting their AI journey listening to this, what are the key things they should really take away from all of this? What's actionable?
That's a great question to focus on. With BitNet, I think the big takeaway is that powerful AI doesn't always need massive, expensive computing power anymore.
Right.
It opens up the possibility of experimenting with AI on your own hardware, your own laptop maybe.
Yeah.
Think about potential projects that could run locally or on smaller devices.
So tinkerers can get involved more easily.
Exactly. And even just browsing the BitNet GitHub repository and maybe the Azure docs we mentioned, that can give you a real feel for what's involved, even if you don't build something immediately.
Okay. And for Lovable 2.0, if someone's maybe thinking about learning to code or building their first web app.
Well, if you're diving into software development, Lovable 2.0 really showcases how AI is becoming a built-in assistant for learning and building. It's integrated.
Yeah.
Even if you just check out their free tier, assuming they still have one, or just read about that chat mode agent, you can see how AI can guide you through the coding process.
Yep.
It could potentially make it less daunting, less intimidating.
Like having a patient tutor built in.
Sort of, yeah.
And finally, for anyone interested in design, making things user-friendly, what's the takeaway from UXAgent?
For anyone interested in web design, app design, product development, UXAgent highlights the incredible potential of AI to rapidly gather user feedback. The actionable thought there is, start thinking about how you could use AI-powered simulations or tools like this to test your designs early and often.
So it speeds up the feedback loop.
Massively.
Yeah.
Saving time, saving money, and almost certainly leading to better, more intuitive user experiences in the end. And keep an eye out for similar tools. This area is evolving fast.
It really feels like we're seeing AI move from being this, I don't know, abstract thing in research labs to becoming practical tools that anyone can potentially use and learn from.
Absolutely. This is just a snapshot, really, of how quickly things are moving and how AI is becoming more integrated into different aspects of technology and development. It's genuinely an exciting time to start learning this stuff.
And that brings us nicely to our final thought for you, the listener. In a world where new tech pops up constantly, where AI is changing so fast, what seemingly maybe unusual idea or slightly weird approach in your own learning or your own projects might actually give you a surprising advantage in this rapidly evolving AI landscape.
Yeah, it's about encouraging that mindset, isn't it? A mindset of experimentation. Don't be afraid to try things that might seem a little outside the box, a bit unconventional.
Right.
Because that's often where the real breakthroughs happen, especially when the field is moving this quickly.
So stay curious. Definitely explore those resources we've mentioned if anything sparked your interest.
Please do.
And maybe even embrace your weird ideas. You never know where they might lead. Thanks for taking this deep dive with us today.
Yeah, thanks for listening.